Once you finish your recordings and you want the world to hear it, you need to bounce it. A bounce allows you to hear the entirety of your work without having to open in Pro Tools. So let's make some bounces. In Pro Tools 12, there are two different ways to bounce files. You can click File, Bounce To, and then Disk or QuickTime. Generally, you're going to want Disk. With Bounce to Disk, you get to choose your bounce source, which is generally going to be your main stereo output. You can choose your file type between WAV and AIFF, or just bounce to MP3. Generally speaking, you're going to want to bounce with one of your lossless formats and then add MP3 if you'd like to. And then you have three separate options here: interleaved, multiple mono, and mono summed. Interleaved is going to be a full stereo image. I'm going to spit out the files in whatever array that you have set up. So if you're just using a stereo set, you're going to have a left track and you're going to have a right track. Mono summed is just going to sum everything together as one mono file. Kind of like interleaved, except if you have things that are the same on the left and the right, you're going to have to worry about a lot of phasing. Here you can change your bit depth. Here you can change your sample rate. Depending on how this was recorded, you don't really want to upsample. If anything, you're going to want to go down. The other choices that you have under here are Enforce Media Composer Compatibility, Import After Bounce, which will then import the actual bounce into the session, and then add to iTunes library. Below that, you can choose the name that you'd like. So I'm going to say full. And then you have two other choices. You can choose to offline bounce, something that is new to Pro Tools 12. Basically, bouncing offline allows you to quickly bounce rather than bouncing in the real time of the song. So if we were to bounce offline, the length of this recorded part is about 8 minutes. So this should dramatically decrease the time it's actually going to take, and you don't have to actually listen to it. So you can just walk away and come back. So what would normally take 8 minutes just took about 15 seconds. Let's look at some other bouncing formats. Because I have two other tracks that I want to get out by themselves, I'm going to click on a track, then I'm going to press Control and then click, and then I'm going to say bounce. There's a track bounce. In a track bounce, you can choose what you want to bounce and what you don't want to bounce about this track. I'm going to take off all volume and pan automation, though there's none on this. So I'm just going to go ahead. It should be noted that track bounces are actually stem bounces. Once you set these parameters, it does this for every track in your session. All right. And I'm going to do this one live so that you can see what the difference this makes.
So that was 8 minutes in. Do you want me to keep going?
Let's go back to File, Bounce to Disk. Let's look at Bounce to QuickTime. Bounce to QuickTime allows you to do voiceover for videos. Since I'm not using video, we'll just ignore it. And that's how you bounce.